troglodytes, and welcome back to another video. So to start off this new year, we're going to take a look at the state of the fleet. Basically all of my various project computers and other devices that I have, and we're going to see what's worked with them, what hasn't worked with them, what I need to fix, the overall experience, what is the current state of things right now, that kind of stuff. So, let's get into it. Okay, thank you. Just don't try to grab that. What are you doing? That's the desktop. It's hooked up. It's already running. What are you doing? Just leave it right there. It's fine. Sorry about that. So, we're going to start talking about the Workhorse, my main production computer. It's right over here. This has been my main kind of production PC. It's the backbone of this channel. It's been in many videos thus far, in one form or another. It's the thing that, records all the footage. As you can see right now, it's recording all of this. It's the thing that will edit all my videos. So yeah, so it's running a 5950X 16-core processor, an AMD RX 6600 GPU, 128 gigabytes of RAM. I recently upgraded it from Fedora 40 to Fedora 41, and because I waited so long to upgrade, it was kind of a non-issue. I upgraded it and everything was fine. So here it is, my main production computer. It's really nice being on that side of the desk because I have so much more space over here, as I mentioned before. Alright, so quick editor's note. Because I'm running the GNOME desktop environment, that means most tweaks that I want to make to my desktop require GNOME extensions. So these little tray icons up here are extensions. This little system information panel right here is an extension, and most importantly, this weather widget is also an extension, Open Weather Redefined. And the problem I have with it is that oftentimes it won't load. Half the time it'll look like this, where it's just like loading on this little loading icon forever. Sometimes I can fix it if I just toggle the extension, so I just turn it off and then turn it back on again, and that'll reload it. But half the time it looks like this because for some reason it just can't grab weather data. And it'll say, you're sending too many requests for Open Weather Map or Weather API or what haveth thee. So that's my only little quibble, is that sometimes this weather widget won't always work, but whoops. But, small beans. Oh well, it works now. Sometimes it doesn't. And that's the thing with GNOME extensions, is that they're sometimes a little bit finicky. So, that's that. Alright, back to the video. Alright, so up next is my Framework 13-inch laptop. It is definitely one of the laptops of all time. I really like it because it's super, it's a thin and light notebook, so it's really thin, it's really light, easy to carry around. It was great for when I was finishing up in university, finishing up at school. It's a really good laptop. It's a perfect Linux laptop, as most people like to point out. There are no problems with this computer as of right now. It was having problems before, where when I was watching YouTube, let's say, for a prolonged period of time, or even not even a prolonged period of time, which is at random, the entire desktop would just go down to 1 frame per second. But they seem to have fixed that problem now. I think it was just a problem with the Mesa drivers and this GPU. Up next is the lab. This has been featured in several videos. This was kind of like my previous project computer, like the Subject, but this has a more powerful 7th gen i5 dual core processor. I think this has 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gig Micron NVMe. This started out in life as a Dell Latitude 7280. I acquired it from a previous job. I used it quite a bit in university. It was a fantastic little computer. A fantastic little Linux machine. It ran Pop! OS at the time. And eventually it developed a problem where the display hinge, however they screwed the hinge mechanism into the actual like display back part, the screw posts started coming out. So the hinge would just like be flopping around like this. The display would just be kind of flopping around. There was nothing to actually like add any friction. So I just took the screen off. I also removed the battery because the battery was basically the battery was worn out on it. So, and now it is the lap. It's just a laptop without a screen. So it has the keyboard and the trackpad, and that works pretty well. I think the last time we used this, we put that goofy Arch Linux thing where you could like switch between all those different XFCE themes. But I haven't touched it since that video. I haven't powered it on since. So let's see what'll happen, if I'll be able to like update it or not. Will it just update, or will the keychain be out of date? This is not that old. You do that. Why not? Do whatever you want to do. So, whoops. Right. So you are updating a lot of stuff. That's a lot. 227 packages. Alright. Will it update? Seems like it's gonna work, so there we go. I guess I must have to let this sit for significantly longer for there to be problems with the keychain, I guess. Basically, I just updated the system, and it updated. It installed all 226 packages. It took quite a while, but it did do it. And we didn't have any problems with the keyring or anything, so now the lap is good to go. Alright, so this is the subject. It is my old Asus Chromebox, my decade-old Chromebox that I've made many videos with and about. So originally, I hacked this thing. I removed Chrome OS, I put Linux on it, and I showed kind of how you can use this as a regular desktop computer. It was pretty performant for that. I then took you through, I made a video about gaming on a decade-old Chromebox, so using this. It did surprisingly well for its age, actually. I was pretty impressed with what it could and couldn't do. I then did the what happens when you remove your boot drive while your system is running video. That was a really fun one, but nobody watched that or the gaming video, sadly. But that's okay. I had fun making them, so that's okay. Those were great videos. It's now done the what else has it done? It's done quite a few videos on my channel that feature this little guy. The potato processor in here is fine, because this is kind of like this underlying theme of my channel that I'm kind of bringing to the surface, is that you really don't need a powerful computer to do what 90% of people want to do. Like something like this, a potato $50 Chromebox is fine for doing basic web browsing, basic email, even playing some games, doing productivity work. This is fine. You don't need anything that much more powerful. If you do, that's a bonus. And if you're getting something like, I don't know, my Framework laptop for watching YouTube and stuff, that's preposterous. You do not need something that powerful like the Framework for, oh, we can put a Framework sticker on this one. See, look at that. The Framework came with stickers, so they're putting them on things. So yeah, so there are some problems with this that we're going to address pretty soon. The main problem is that this only has a 16 gigabyte internal SSD, which is very limiting, and it only has 4 gigabytes of RAM, which is generally fine, but I want to upgrade that because I can upgrade these things. That's the other reason why this is such a great option. over like a Chromebook or something is that this has upgradable RAM and storage. So what we're going to do next is we're going to upgrade this thing, and I'm going to show you the benefit of why having upgradable parts is so nice. So as you can see right here, this is right up here, this is how much free, I love the XIs, it's so funny. This is how much free storage space I have on this computer, which is 2.7 gigabytes. So that's like basically nothing. And if I tried to go download anything onto here, I'm gonna run out of space almost immediately. And this is kind of the main thing that I wanted to run on this originally with my is GNOME that heavy video. This is what I wanted to originally run on that Debian install with its 128 gigabyte SD card. But yeah, and it didn't quite work there, I think, because the 4 gigabytes of RAM was limiting it. But then on this machine, it runs out of storage before it runs out of RAM, so that's the problem with having such limited storage. And that's also why it's such a great thing to be able to upgrade these components without having to buy a whole new computer, because that'll let me do good stuff. Yeah, it's out of memory and out of swap space right here, as you can kind of see. Let me move this over. Close that. Pull this over. Yeah, so for larger tasks like this, yeah, like it's out of RAM and it's out of swap. It hasn't even fully warmed up the scene yet. So this is why being able to upgrade your RAM is so critical, because so you have evolving applications like this, you want to do something heavier, and the whole computer has now locked up. So alrighty then, so let us upgrade this bad boy right here. And to upgrade it, I have purchased a 512 gig 2242 mSATA SSD. So basically what that means when you're reading that says, M.2 blah 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 right here. So the 22, basically the important number here is the 42. Where is it? Right here, it's mirrored. Yes, okay. So this 42 number, that's the important part. That means that's how long the SSD is. So if you have like, the standard M.2 2280 form factor, that's 80 millimeters long. If you have like a 22110, that's 110 millimeters long. And if you have like a 2230, which is the kind of more standard small size, then that would be 30 millimeters long. And that's why that's pretty important. We're going to upgrade that 4 gigabytes of RAM it came with to 16. So from this Team Group DDR3L. With that, it's not laptop memory. It's not as important you get it to be perfectly matched, because DDR3 is DDR3, so it's not as different, but you still have to make sure you're getting something that's compatible, so check to make sure what your device came with originally, and then you should be able to work from there. I chose 16 gigabytes because I looked up the CPU, and that was the maximum amount of RAM that this Celeron supports, apparently. So that's what I got, and it should be compatible. There we go. Now it comes open just like that. Okay. And then all the components I want are right here. So let me just remove this Wi-Fi card. Alright, so let's get rid of that. Put that off to the side, just like that. So let's just remove the old SSD. We'll put a fresh install of something on here, and then we'll test all that stuff again. They both have the same connector on there, so this new one will be compatible. This new one has 512 gigs, so that's a pretty big upgrade over what the original one had. So let me just whack that bad boy back in there, just like that. So this old RAM just pops out just like that. You just take off these little tabs right here, and this will just pop up. And then it pulls out just like that. So again with this one, we pop those tabs out. The RAM just kind of pops up and pulls out just like that. Make sure that you align the notch right here with the notch on here. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but it should be obvious, and then it should just click into place just like that. Bada bing, bada boom. Now my computer is upgraded. Just like that. It's that easy. Alrighty then. So, the upgrade was successful. So, now, as opposed to having 14 gigabytes of available space to work with, now we have 512 gigabytes, or 470 gigabytes, because differences. And now we have 16 gigabytes of RAM instead of only 4. Oh, now it's actually able to benchmark the junk shop scene because it has the RAM for it. Oh look, we used what, like about 8 gigs of RAM doing that? So yeah, being able to upgrade was critical. Although obviously on this class of computer, I mean 4 gigabytes of RAM originally was totally fine. But having the ability to upgrade it so easily is really important for the longevity of your devices. Now we can complete larger tasks because we're able to so easily upgrade our system. And that about it will conclude the subject. I've done all the upgrades I wanted to do. This is now working exactly how I want it to. I actually can feel confident like doing things with this install and being able to like use it for stuff because it's really good. So I actually have storage space now, so I can actually install applications and, you know, use this as a computer instead of being like, oh god, okay, if I do this, then I have to delete that, and then we have to micromanage our storage, and oh, do I really need all these packages? Ah, flush the cache. Ah. But now it's fine. So, yippee! Okay, on to the next one, boys. Alright, so we have the Pi. This is my little Raspberry Pi 5. This has been quite a few videos, such as gaming on the Raspberry Pi, running a Minecraft server on the Raspberry Pi, running Windows on the Raspberry Pi. We've done quite a few things on the Raspberry Pi, and this has been in a lot of them. This has been a fantastic computer. It still works perfectly. I think this still has the Minecraft server on it, but this is going to get reset for whatever next thing I do with it. I'll just put another thing of Raspbian on there and use it for something else in the future. I have quite a few ideas lined up for this. But yeah. But overall, you know, this is a fantastic little project box, little computer thing. And yeah. It is good. It works. There's no problems with it right now. And yeah. Alright, so last up is the NAS. This is my file server. No, you don't need to grab that. No, leave that alone. It's running, it's plugged in. Okay, grab the camera and film it then. Film it for me. Right now. Well, what? Anyway, yep, but we have the NAS. It's my file server. It's the most recent addition to the fleet. He's still learning, so it's okay. You know, he's like an intern, so. Yep, he's still learning. So anyway, it's the most recent addition to the fleet. It's my network attached file server. It's based on a Raspberry Pi with a power over Ethernet hat and then a little hob, hardware on bottom for adding 4 NVMe SSDs. And it's working perfectly. It still works perfectly. I'm very happy with it. I'm getting the full speeds out of it that I want. And overall, it's been a superb little machine. So, Okay, you're good. You don't have to record anymore, buddy. Yeah, it's been a good little computer, so I am happy with it. The NAS is perfect, so yippee-yi-yay. It's just really convenient to have a little file server like that, because obviously I can back up my uploads to it, but then I can also use it as a place to, store video files that I want to play on different computers around the house, or an easier way to like transmit footage from my phone to the file server to my computer and so on and so forth. So it's just a really useful thing to have. I'm glad I set it up in such a simple way that there's nothing to go wrong, because I have accidentally unplugged it once or twice and I was messing around in my network box downstairs, and it's just booted back up again and worked, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, that about concludes the State of the Fleet 2025 edition. I might do another one of these around this time next year, and we'll see what the state of the fleet is looking like then. So, all right, that's about it. Bye.